I want this in my bedroom. That's awesome. Currently in the cinema, all by myself. No one else here. Film is due to start in what? How long? 7 minutes. Well, it'd be good if it's just me in here by myself watching a film on my own. Right, so I'm just back from Wolfman, and I've got to say I thoroughly enjoyed the film. Now, just so you know, I wasn't the only one in that cinema. There was one other person that joined me. It was quite a large screen, so it's really weird being in a cinema of just me, 2 chairs empty, then one other guy, and that was it for the whole cinema. It was a big screen as well, so a bit weird at the start, but still an enjoyable film. So we'll do like a non-spoiler bit at the start, and then I'll let you know when I start to go into spoilers, okay? So Wolfman is simply this. It's a family of 3, husband, wife and daughter, going back to the husband's dad's farmhouse because he's been officially declared dead. So basically they're going back there to clear it all out. On the way there, they get attacked by something, and it causes them to have their movable van to crash, and stuff happens basically, and they end up at the farmhouse being chased by the creature, and the husband is like scratched during the initial attack, and he's starting to change a little bit. Now, what I'll talk about this film is that there's a lot of good atmosphere stuff in this movie. This film is very atmosphere based. Like, you get a real sense that they are trapped in this house and in the area. It's very sort of, everything is really dark. That's one thing I've said about this movie. Everything's really, really dark, a bit too dark. There's some scenes, I don't know if it's just my screening or not, but there's some scenes where it's sort of like, you're trying to sort of see, and it's almost like you just about can't see. Not that bad though. I remember a few years back, do you remember when the Hulk movie came out, the one with Eric Bana playing the Incredible Hulk? I remember the ending of that in the cinema. I couldn't see anything. He was having a fight with he's like the absorbing man dad. I couldn't see any of it. It was so dark. I could not see anything going on in that movie, and it kind of like got to a point where it was sort of frustrating. And it wasn't until it came out on like DVD, and I think I put the colour up a little bit, that I could see more of what was going on. So this film wasn't quite as bad as that, but it was very dark in places. But then that kind of went with the mood, because like there's scenes later on where it's the darkness in the human's point of view that kind of like gets you on edge a little bit, and you're sort of waiting for the big oh. As far as like scariness goes, there's a few moments in there that kind of get you jumping, but it's not the most jumpy film ever. It is, again, it's more of an atmosphere film, and there's a long drag till sort of scary stuff sort of goes on. It's more creepy. It's more of a creepy film. So the dynamic of the family is fantastic. Like the dad, you can tell he loves his family. He's like especially his daughter, he's very much sort of like, he's a stay-at-home dad. So you've got the wife goes off working, he stays at home because he's not between jobs at the minute, and he's become a stay-at-home dad. I know a little bit saying about that myself, so it's pretty cool. Like, that's represented on screens. You don't often see that dynamic. It's normally the mum that's at home. So he's very much with the daughter, and the mum's kind of a little bit estranged from it because she obviously goes to work, so she doesn't have that same bond that he has. She's kind of not jealous of it. She would rather have a bond like the daughter, but doesn't have it. So there's a lot of that going on, and it's quite a nice little dynamic, and they all go off to this like house together, and they're kind of enjoying the little journey there as well. So to see what comes later, it's kind of like, oh, it really guts you, you know. It's really, and I know if I watch this film back a second time, it's going to hit even harder watching the first like few scenes, and then knowing what's going to come later, it's really going to hit harder. As far as like the acting goes, it was alright. It's pretty good acting. It's a really rare thing when you watch film, you don't really know anyone. I recognised the wife from something, but I still couldn't work out where it was from. But I didn't know really anyone in this movie, which is, as again I said, it's a really rare thing to happen. But the whole film is pretty much just 3 people. That is the entire movie. There are a couple of others. I think the cast list might not even be that long, but the main 3 in it, I like their chemistry with each other. I did like it, even though I didn't recognise it. Although I will say the guy, the dad, sounds like Mark Ruffalo. And at the very beginning of the film, it was kind of like, that should be Mark Ruffalo, if you know what I mean. I don't know if Mark Ruffalo had ever thought of this film, but it was very bizarre how he sounded like Mark Ruffalo in some of the way he spoke and that. So I don't think he's from a very similar area to Mark Ruffalo, like brought up in some sort of area, so he's got the same accent. I don't know, but it was just a weird. It threw me off a little bit at the start. But no, it was thoroughly enjoyable. Even if I wasn't in the cinema, just one other guy who I didn't know from Adam, and somehow he managed to book the seat 2 down from me as well, which is kind of funny. But no, it's definitely a good film, and it's definitely worth a watch. There's a few moments in it where, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say they don't like it, and there's a reason they don't like it, and I'm kind of going to get into spoiler territory here in a way. So if I just put this, actually I'm not going to put it on yet. Basically, the creature design could have been better. That's all I'm saying. We all know there's going to be a creature in this. We all know from the title Wolfman, it's going to be a Wolfman, but it wasn't a great creature design. That's the one thing I have on it. It kind of like, it's not, it is werewolfy in a way. It's definitely monsterific. It's definitely sort of like teeth and claws. But it's a weird choice to go for a Wolfman film. You think of the original Wolfman, you think hairy and fur, but this that kind of goes different. And the transformation isn't like a American Wolf where it's over like a very quick transformation. It's quite a longed out transformation. You get slow changes, but I'm going to get into that more now that we hit spoiler territory. So again, this is where we get into the spoiler part of the video. If you do not want to know any spoilers from anything I want to say from now on, please stop the video and then come back once you've seen the movie and see where you get. But yes, before spoilers, it's not a bad film. I know a lot of people like give it a bit of crap, and a lot of people give Blumhouse it's a Blumhouse movie. A lot of people give them stick these days anyway, but I still like their films. I really do enjoy their films. So 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Okay, right. So spoiler time. So basically, as I said before, the story basically turns out that the dad in the film's dad has been declared dead. He's gone missing a while ago, but he's been declared dead, and they're off to his farmhouse to, I suppose, what's the word? Off his farmhouse to clear out all the crap. So basically, get rid of all the stuff, empty the farmhouse out, collect any valuables. Supposedly, it goes back to wherever it goes to. However, at the very beginning of the film, you see sort of the relationship between him and his dad wasn't that great. The dad was very scary, very like aggressive. But it's also like he was an army member. He had a weird sort of army tattoo on him now. And the dad's kind of like, it seems like he's there to hunt something, and then he finds this thing he's supposed to hunt, which is, they basically portray lycanthropy, as it's been called in different films, as a disease that makes you have like the face of a wolf. They first, it's like a little bit at the beginning. And it looks like the dad has been sent there to try and hunt this thing out. And obviously he never leaves, and the son obviously moves off, goes into the city and becomes a writer. And then we fast forward 30 years, and obviously the dad's been declared dead, so obviously he died up in the thingy, or so you're led to believe. And then they obviously go off to this farmhouse with the big moval lorry to clear out this old farmhouse, and I suppose get the money for the house. And I'm sure it works. So on the way here, they go down a road. The dad kind of gets lost. He hasn't been there for years, so he gets a bit lost on the way. And they come across this other guy who lives close there, tells them, like, he'll get in the car and show them how to get where they need to get. So as they're driving through the dark woods, suddenly a figure appears in the road and the car crashes, and then the Wolfman turns up. You don't really see it much. So from that little glimpse when the car's about to crash, you'll see it standing in the road. And then you see it a bit later, like you see it further into the film. But the car crashes and the wolf starts stalking the car and kills the guy that was in the car with them. They manage to escape, but during the sort of kerfuffle of the wolf reaching through the car, it scratches the dad. They run to this like house, lock themselves in. It's the house that he grew up in, so he sort of knows his way around it. Locks it in, gets the power back on, but you know that the wolf man is still stalking him outside the house. But the dad starts to go through some changes. Now this is the bit that's kind of like, yes, it was good. I thought it was done quite well, like the slow descent and how they depicted that he's changing. A lot of people I don't think are going to like it, but I quite enjoyed the way he changes. So he's in the house, and the rest of the film, or most of the film, is him slowly changing and them trying to avoid the wolf that's outside, the wolf man that's outside. So the way they depict the change, the thing that I liked about it was like slow. It was like he first notice his senses are starting to heighten a little bit, and then he's like teeth sort of falling out. Like first he's his smell that he notices, so he finds the meat locker that his dad had with his meat jerky stuff in there. Then he finds he hears like fun like snakes walking around upstairs, and when he gets up there, it's a spider walking around. So it's not even really delicate in that. So he's now like saying it's going on, but physically changed. Like his teeth are falling out and stuff like that, and he had this. Basically, where he got scratched, and this bit is quite gruesome. So as he's starting to go a bit weird, he's starting to. Oh, we'll go back a little bit. So he hears his wife, but he can't understand her. So he's like almost he's getting a like primitive brain, so he can't understand what she's saying, and she then can't understand what he's saying because he's not really speaking properly anymore. But he can still communicate with them and that. But it's like slowly things aren't working the way they used to. Like when you hear, there's a very clever thing where you can sort of hear how he's hearing, and it's almost like just gibberish coming out of her mouth as she's talking to him. But obviously she's speaking properly, and the same with the daughter, they're speaking properly. So yeah, then we sort of get him slowly changing, and then they work out he's changing because when they go to unwrap the bandage, the wound has become like disgusting, and he starts to scratch it like a dog would scratch at a wound, and he starts to gnaw at the wound, and it's like, oh, that's not normal. And he sort of comes to a bit of sense and realises what he's doing. It's like, okay, something's wrong. They kind of work out too quickly that what's going on with no prior knowledge. I'd rather if they found like a journal or something that the dad had written to explain what was happening. Like his dad would have written a journal about what he'd seen out there, and maybe that would explain the sort of illness and that, and they would have understood. But they seem to just sort of know that the dad's sick, he's changing, and they sort of clock all this themselves, even though they haven't really got a real evidence of what happened the first time round. So I thought that was a bit strange, kind of almost like we missed a scene somewhere. It kind of felt like that was a bit where you suddenly see her on the radio, he's upstairs, unconscious on the bed, he's sort of like passed out a bit, and then you sort of suddenly hear her on the radio saying, my husband's sick. I feel like they cut something out there, like an important scene, whether they read a journal or they found some more information out. It just felt like we jumped a bit of the film. So they see that there's a car outside, so the husband is now starting to get a bit tatty, and the daughter's obviously upset and stuff, but he's starting to get a bit more mutated and changing a bit more. Fingernails are falling off, that sort of thing, and there's little claws going out from underneath. So they decide they're going to try and get away. So they try to. This is like one of the first jump scares in the film, really, apart from the Wolf on the Road. We're going to be like half hour, 40 minutes in at this point, where they go to this car and she gets like a battery and she's trying to get the car started, and she takes ages to do it, and you can feel the tension, like, oh, she's taking too long, something is about to happen. And so she gets the car going, gets in the car, starts it up a couple of times, suddenly it starts to work. She goes out, takes the battery out, she's using a battery to sort of jumpstart the car, takes the battery, gets in, shuts the door, turns the lights on, turns the windscreen on. As the windscreen lights go, there's this like wolf in your face, sort of in the mirror, and he jumps through, starts smashing at the glass. They run and they climb up on like, it's one of these greenhouses, but it's like not glass, it's like a plastic sheet, over the top of these oval shaped ones, They jump on top of that, move the ladder, and the werewolf's then stalking them around it. Then he goes inside the greenhouse and he jumps slashing at the plastics. They're starting to rip, and then the little girl falls through, so the dad and the mum pull her back up, manage to save her. But then the dad's like, right, because he can't communicate because he's all like messed up now, he then points at the house and tells them to go, and he's going to lead it away. So he jumps down and runs, and then you guess the wolf follows him, and the two, like the mum and the daughter, run to the house. They then shut themselves in, and this is where it kind of gets a bit, again, I feel like we missed some bits somewhere in here, like some cuts been done, because they're in the house, and the dad comes back and he's even more transformed from the running away with a thing with the dad, so it's a bit weird. And he gets in the house and he's changing a bit more, and it's like I do feel like this film has been cut more than it should be. That's going to be like a director's cut or something come out where he's going to explain these little bits and it's going to be more of a movie. But I feel like they've cut a bit too much and they haven't cut it well enough to feel like something's missing. So where are we? Yeah, so we're back in the house, and suddenly the dad's like, I'm gonna go. Opens the door, and the other werewolf comes in, and you get a wolf on wolf sort of fight, because the dad's more transformed now, but the other one that comes in is like proper all wolfed up. But it's, as I said, the creature design isn't great, and the wolfed up. This is my problem with the film. It's a problem I think a lot of people are gonna have with this movie, is that they don't look wolf-like. Like when they're in their wolf form, like when they fully go through the change and they're wolf-like, they kind of look more like kind of like a Jeff Goldblum from The Fly meets. If you ever see a British TV miniseries called Chimera, it's like them two merged together. So Jeff Goldblum from The Fly, when he's sort of all started going manky, not when he's fully fly, but when he's sort of all like oily and he's all like scabby and he's all hair falling out. That's what this looks like. So to me, that's not well. If it's got the teeth like the wolf would have, like the pronounced bottom jaw and the teeth, and the claws of a wolf, but it's like the hair's all falling out, and it looks more like creepy than wolfy, if you know what I mean. So I think that's what's going to get a lot of people going. So anyway, you get a wolf on wolf sort of fight, and the dad's still very much kind of in control. He's not gone full feral yet, so he's fighting off the other wolf that's come in, the werewolf that's come in. They're having a big old wolfman fight. And then the dad wins by ripping the thing's throat out. But again, I thought it could be a bit more gory, so like a slash, but I thought it'd be a proper, like, because the way it looked like, but it was just a little slash. So he kills the other wolf, and then it's like, well, now we know where this is going. And the dad sort of like runs out into the thing, shuts the door, and as he's outside, you see him fully change into the wolf now. So then it's like he's stalking them, and we get like, he like breaks into the house, and we get a few scenes where it's kind of like, well, he's right there. It's kind of trying to be a jump scene, but they give us too much to know he's there, so we're not going to jump as much as we would if we didn't know he was there. Like, you hear him smash through the window upstairs, and then you sort of see, as they're backing up looking for him, you see him walk down the stairs. And even though it's quite dark, it's that weird, as I said before, it's really dark film, like it's not as in dark, it's dark scary, but dark as in literally dark to see. It's hard to see some of the stuff in the film. And you see the wolf sort of come down the stairs, and she's like that, and then they do a jump scare later, and it's like, well, I knew he was there, so it's not really that much of a jump scare. He could end up behind the door sort of thing. So it's not that much of a jump scare, but it still is scary, I suppose. So then we go a bit more into sort of like them running away from him. They run into the barn, and then this is the bit that, again, it was like, how did he get in there? So they're in the barn, they've shut the doors. You know, there's one door there. He tries to dig his way underneath it, but then stops and disappears. So she's looking at the windows up there, and then you see him already in the barn through wolf vision. So wolf vision in this film is like, they can see everything. And then some things sort of glow to them, so I guess they can see like the eye glow of the human and that. So then you can see, in wolf vision, he's in the barn with them. God knows how he got in there, because there's no way in there. He somehow managed to get in the barn with them, and he's quite close to them. So say like that's them, he's here looking at them, and they're just like, oh, where are you? And he's there. And then she is noise, turns the light on, he's there, and they're like, ah, and they go running, and then he puts his foot in a bear trap, and it traps him. Lucky as hell that none of them put their foot in a bear trap, but he managed to get his foot in a bear trap. And then they sort of run, but then we get the classic sort of like, if a coyote's got his foot stuck in a trap, what they do, they gnaw their foot off, so he does that. And then after he's done that, you'd think he'd be like, oh, sod this, I'm not in pain or whatever. But no, he's still on the hunt for the family and that. Then the girls go running off into the woods, and end up back where the van crashed. And of course, the guy they picked up earlier was a hunter, so he had a rifle. She finds the rifle, runs up the tower, and this arcs back to something at the very beginning. And she's in the tower. Dad climbs up, looking all Jeff Goldblum from The Fly, peeks his head over, and the daughter says, look, Mum, he wants it over, because the wolf doesn't attack, he's just looking at them, almost like, end this, please. And she's like, she's hesitant, she won't do it. Suddenly he bursts through the thing, and she... And again, we get the classic ending to any Wolfman, any werewolf film, where obviously the guy who kind of starts as the hero, turns into the villain, dies at the end. And you get that, and he's surrounded by someone he loves, who kills him at the end, which the original Wolfman, it was his own father that killed him. In this Wolfman, it was his wife that killed him. It's always someone he loved. Even in Miracle for in London, obviously Jenny Agger is in the alleyway with him when he dies, so you always get that little bit of a connection and a slight human moment before they die, which I always think is quite good. It's kind of needed, so you still care about these people. And then you get the mother and daughter sort of go off together hand in hand and sort of get out of the area that they're in. But one thing I didn't mention was that the wolf that's been stalking him all the way through the movie turns out to be his dad. So his dad is the werewolf. That's when he went missing. And because when he kills him, he sees the tattoo, and that's what makes him run out. He realizes that I'm going to become this, and he legs it out. Sorry, but I forgot that part. That's like a major revelation in the movie. But again, it is a good film. I enjoyed it. I just wish they'd come up with something better with the creature design. It didn't scream wolf to me, and I kind of want a wolf. I want a, you know. It was more creepy. It kind of like a golem almost, like it's that sort of like greasy skin, oily skin, like bits of hair where it's like all the hair's all falling out. So he's got the wavy bits of hair. And he's got like a bit of hair on his body now, but he's not wolf-like enough for me. Like I recently watched the original Wolfman, and he's obviously a wolf man. I also watched just a couple of weeks last week. I watched American Wolf in London in the cinema, a special screening, and again wolf, and Jack Nicholson's wolf. Even though he's kind of not a werewolf, like a wolf, but you can tell the ears get pointy and the things. So it's Jack Nicholson's wolf, and all the other depictions of werewolves. There's more hair on them. This is really, it's almost like a mutant, like that's the only control, it's like a mutant, you'd imagine a mutant to look like. But I mean the film ends and it's kind of like, oh, it's over, it must be over because there's no one else there. And I didn't stay to the very end of the credits, but I sort of stayed to where the mid-credit scene would happen, but nothing happened. It's just like they show the names of the people in it, and then suddenly they switched like the scrolling credits, and I left all the lights sort of come back on. That kind of my indication to that that's it, the movie's over. So they've not left you open to a sequel. There could be a sequel because there could be more werewolves living up there. There could be whatever, but they've not like in your face. There's got to be another one. There's none of that. So the film's kind of self-contained, which I like. And it wasn't that long a film. Like I felt like it was just the pacing was enough. But like I said, there's some bits that I do feel they've cut. They probably shouldn't have cut. It would have explained a lot more to me as the viewer, trying to work out what the hell is going on. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the film, and yeah, it was a great little film. But I will say they were really pushing that monkey film in that cinema. There's cardboard carts everywhere. There's little cardboard standees, which I really want to get one. So I might speak if I go to the cinema next time. I might ask if I can have one of those when they're done. There's like a lot of promotional posters, and the first trailer come on was for that monkey film. So I'm guessing it's gonna be the big horror film that's out in February. But they're really pushing that film to like be thing, because like this film didn't really have much in the way of promotional stuff in the cinema. It was just one poster on a wall, which saw that little video I did. So yeah, strange that. But anyway, guys, I really hope you like this video. And again, if you did get it spoiled for you, I tried to get the spoiler thing up, and I tried to tell you. So sorry if that happened. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Definitely go and watch it. It's worth a watch. There's some things that nigged at me, and I kind of want to watch it again, like a second watch. I think it's going to enjoy it a bit more in a second watch. I don't know why I just think I'm going to enjoy it a second watch. Probably because I think I'm going to feel more for the people, knowing what's to come from them. But yeah, aside from that werewolf, not a bad film. But then if you watch a werewolf, you kind of want a decent werewolf. Anyway, Blumhouse, it's not so bad. It's not one of your worst films. It's not one of your best films. It's a watch, and it's January, so why not just chuck it on here? Anyway, enjoy yourselves, guys. Hope you have a good night. And what's the next one I want to see? What's the next one I do want to see? Oh, Presents. I want to see Presents. So hopefully the next review from the cinema will be the film Presents. So see you later, guys. Bye. Oh, and like, subscribe if you enjoyed this stuff, because there's more to come. Bye.